So in terms of Lancaster Environment Action and Protection LEAP, our main focus is we are trying to do whatever we can do to make things more sustainable by changing the way people think. So it's about the sustainable mindset. That's basically what we are trying to do. So we tend to partner with communities. So we partner with community organizations. We try and do that because that way they're already working with the community. They're already doing a lot of good work. They know and they have their connection with the community. So if we are able to put forward ideas or whatever it is, then it spreads across the community, spreads across more people. So it's about making an impact. So we are presenting the Recycle Future Fashion cultural workshops. Why so many words in one workshop thing basically? The reason being that firstly recycled, because we are trying to promote the idea that let's make fashion sustainable. Let's make sure that we can really make sure that people don't keep buying fast fashion. So the next bit is that why we're talking about the future. So we're bringing a bit of climate adaptability into this. So the idea being that when you make fashion climate adaptable, what you're doing is you're just saying that, okay, it's raining a lot more, it's more stormy, it's hotter and colder and more unpredictable. What can we do with our clothes to make it a little more climate adaptable? In terms of the cultural aspect, that is basically we're using all these different techniques. All the different cultures in the world have wonderful techniques they've been using for centuries to reinvent clothes. Why do we, if you get fed up of wearing a particular, thing, and you think that, okay, oh, I'm not going to wear this anymore, let me buy something new. You don't need to, you can reinvent that cloth.
Cool.
So Charu Jalota, she's basically a lady who has a long trail in terms of art. She's an artist in her own right. She's qualified as a graphic designer. She's basically got wonderful work across different mediums of art. I can't describe them. Charu will do a better job of describing them. She's also worked with textiles for a very long time. So she's very familiar with the Batik workshops. I've probably attended some of her workshops about maybe 10, 15 years ago. So, long time ago. So she's been at it for a long time. So very comfortable with, textiles and that kind of area. In her own right, she's obviously also an IT program manager, has that kind of experience for about 20 years. So this is what usually people do who are artistic. They balance two professions. And Charu has been brilliant at doing that. Thank you so much for being here, because a workshop is no use unless people come and take part of the learning.
What we'll start off with is I'll talk you through what Batik is, I'll talk you through what marbling is, and then we'll do sessions on each of the table, so you can decide on what what really excites you. But ideally, I want you guys to have a stab at both the tables, because it's a new way of learning a new technique. So just a brief intro. I'm aware of the time. Just to give you like a quick intro in terms of what Batik is. So Batik is basically doing adding wax onto material, and that wax basically resists dye. So you get like why the color that is remaining is basically where you put wax on. So the other part is where the dye is. So basically what the technique, it's actually a very ancient technique, and this was actually started in Indonesia, and it's been covered in it. It's kind of found in Indonesia. That's basically where they say that the origin is, but it's actually it's all across the board. It's used in Singapore, it's used in Malaysia, it's also still used in India at the moment. So it's kind of widely being used still. It's actually also a UNESCO designated Indonesia Batik as one of the masterpieces of oral and intangible heritage of humanity. So it's basically a UNESCO protected art as well. So they are trying to encourage still to, for people to kind of follow this traditional art form. So I will go through in terms of what the steps entail in here. So you apply, as I said, you have like wax. First of all, you do like a sketch. You do a sketch on a cloth. There are lots of designs here. So you can see, like, you can just put it with a pen. You can sketch out the design on the paper. Then I have a wax, kind of hot wax. We'll apply wax onto the surfaces where you want it to remain white. And once you've done that, then we'll put that into a die, so you can see immediately how the impact is, how the effect is. So that's what we'll go through on this table, Batik here. There are a couple of things, but which when I'll demo, I'll also do, you can do like really crazy little things. You can have blocks, you can put that into wax, and you can create your own pattern. So you don't have to stick to traditional methods, you can invent your own methods. So I'll take you through, some of these household things that you can use in order to create design as well. So I'll demo this. So that's in terms of the what equipment you need for batik. You need some sort of wax melter. So you can do that also if you're at home. You can melt it in a hot saucepan. Or you can have if you don't have luxury of like a candle heater, you can actually do it on a saucepan. You need beeswax. That's the best kind of wax for doing batik, but you can also try, if you have soya wax, you can try that as well. But beeswax gives you the best result. In terms of, you need a design, you need a cloth, cloth which is washed. So cloth which is washed is the best for doing batik, because you don't have any residues on it. And then have like a kind of, as you can see, it needs to be sturdy to apply wax. So like a stand, like a normal stand, an embroidery frame that you have, that also works. And then once you've gone through that, all this process, you dip it into a kind of color and you dry it, and then you reapply the process if you want to apply 2 colors. So this is just to kind of, I'll demo just 1 color today, but next time if you want to come over, we can do the 2nd color round. So that's basically kind of what we are doing with batik. As I've gone through, that's the kind of the process. And in terms of what Shona talked about, the climate adaptability, we'll also apply that. So we'll take a couple of marbling pieces which are dry already. We will waterproof them, or we can also apply beeswax to make it waterproof. So we are also kind of really, fulfilling what Shona is trying to, what mission Shona is trying to go for is climate adaptability. So we are trying to protect the environment. So we also will kind of go through that in kind of practical aspects. In terms of marbling, marbling is, I've got like a couple of demo sheets here. Actually dates back to 12th century kind of marbling. So that's basically applying floating colors on thick water. And also this technique is also from Turkey as well. So we can see, we've got a couple of techniques that are coming back to us from Japan, from Turkey. So it's nice to kind of go back to these techniques and really be as creative as possible. In terms of how this works, again, I'll show you. So there's to create, the main thing in marbling is creating the surface. That surface that you're seeing in those pots is actually made of water, plus there's a product called carrageenan. So that's basically it's like a seaweed extract that's used to thicken water. And what will happen if the water is thickened, the colors will float on top. So if you want to do that at home, I can give you instructions, but you have to prepare that water 12 hours prior to you want to do something. So that water I prepared yesterday, and I got it in bottles, so you can try and experiment with it. So it's basically, you can also use at home cornstarch. So you can use cornstarch, and it will give you similar consistency as well. So the aim is that you have to have the colors that are floating on top of water. So that's basically marbling. I'll show you a couple of techniques. They're like really simple things that you can use a comb. If you have a hair comb, you can just use that to create lots of effects for marbling. So I'll also demo that when I'm going through the demo. And that's, in essence, that's it. So I will hope you enjoy the workshops, and I'll start on with batik now, and then we can move on to marbling.